Right, okay, let's get going. As always, like and subscribe if you can, it does help out. So if we times both sides of this by 100, that's the same as timesing it by 1. So it's 846 over 15. There will be a factor of 3 in common here. You can also just bus stop method this directly. That's actually probably going to be easier here. So 846. How many 15s go into 80? How many 15s go into 84? Well, 6 would go into 90, so 5 will go into this. 15 minus, what is it, 6, so it's 96 remainder, which would give me 6, so it's 56 plus what, 6 over 15, which is 3 over 5, 2 over 5, sorry, so that would be 56.4. Work out this, I'm going to take that 2 off immediately, so that's 5 3/8 minus a half, which would give me 4 7/8. You can do it the long-winded way, but that's quite easy, so I don't think we have to. Cube has a total surface area of 150. What's the total volume of the cube? Okay, so cube has got 6 sides, yes? So we divide this by 6 to get the area of one side, which will give me 25, which means square root that. So we get that the length is 5. So then we cube this to get 135 is the volume. Here's rainfall, draw a frequency polygon for it. Okay, so we go halfway along. So it's 2.5, we are at 8. At 7.5, we are at 24. At 12.5, we are at 13. At 17.5, we are at 11. And from 22.5, we are at 4. And then we get our ruler, which I'm not going to do, and we're going to draw these points up, point to point, like that. And our point should hit, even if mine don't. Okay, how do we want to do this? Okay. So let's write out what A and B are in. So we'd have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And for square numbers, we'd have 1, 4, and 9. Yes? 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. So what's in the middle? Well, that's just all of them. 1 and 9 are both odd and square, and in the numbers between 1 to 10, so they're in the middle. B isn't odd, so that's just going to be 4. So the others, that would be 3, 5, and 7. And then 2, 6, 8 will be outside, yes? Find the probability that this set is in B prime. Remember, that just means not B. How many are in B? 3. So that's 10 minus 3 equals 7, and there's 10 to pick from, so that's 7 over 10. Sorry, that's terrible writing. I'll try and do better. The scatter graph shows information about the ages and weights of some babies. Describe the relationship. See, we can't just write positive. That's not good enough. So you want to say, yeah, weight increases with age. That's probably is good enough. It hasn't said correlation. If it said correlation, it'd be positive. With age. Sorry, I'm trying to be a bit neater this time. Another baby has a weight of 5.8 kilograms. Using the scatter graph, find an estimate for the age of this baby. So let's make a nice little line that kind of follows the trend. You're supposed to want half of the points above and below, which is close enough to there. That's good enough. Please don't take this strategy into your exams. You want a quite nice line, but there's quite a big range there. If you're in the right ballpark, you're in the right ballpark, I'd say. Unless I get this wrong, that would be embarrassing after I've told you how easy it is. So we find 5.8, we go along, we then go down to get 3, that's 3.8 months. Price of a holiday increases by 20%. This 20% adds £240 to the price of the holiday. So that means, well, 1.2 lots of x equals x plus 240, yes? So 0.2x equals 240, so we times both sides by 5, which gives me x equals 1,000 plus 200 equals 1,200. Moving on. And it's taking me back to the top. Sorry. There we go. The cylinder exerts a force of 90 newtons on the floor. Work out under pressure on the floor due to the cylinder. Okay, so we have this lovely equation. They've given it to us. So we've got 90 equals force over area. Oh, sorry, no we don't. I've written that down wrong. Okay, so we have pressure, what we're looking for, equals 90 over area. Because that's a 9, not a 4. Because this is a force, yes? So we can get our area. Our area is this section at the bottom. So the height is one of the parameters. So if we take this one divided by that one, we should get what we're looking for. So 1200 over 40, that is 30 meters or centimeters squared equals area. So 90 over 30 is 9 over 3 equals 3, and this is your pressure. Move on. Use these graphs. Okay, well, they've given us them, so it's when they cross, because both need to be true at once. At this point on the line, this line works, but that line isn't true. So where do they cross? Well, when x is 6 and y is -2. Work out the size of angle AED. So we're looking at this one here, and it's 4 times bigger than that. So this is 4x, and this is x. Yes? So we need to use the formula to remember what the angles will add up to for this. And remember, it's your sides, -2 times 180. We have 5 sides, yes? So that's 3 times 180. Yeah, well, so that's 300 plus 240. And this is equal to 120 plus 110 plus 135 plus 5x, yes? So what's the easiest way to... So that's just make that 10. You should do this much neater than I should. It goes without saying, obviously. So then we have 310 minus 135 equals 5x. So that's 210 minus 35, 200 minus 25. So that's 175 equals 5x. X equals... What would x equal? 35? Are we looking for x? No, we are looking for this angle, which is 4x. So we then take 35 times 4 to get 140 degrees. Move on. Write this in the form. Okay, so that would be 36. Remember, this is outside, so we use it on each one in term. X to the 10, y to the 6, and then we just add stuff here. Obviously, not that, so we get 12. X cubed, y to the 4. And then we just divide each individual term. So we get 3, x to the 10 minus x to the 3, so that's x to the 7. And then 6 minus 4 is squared. So it's 3x to the 7, y squared. Martha plays a game twice. Here's the probability tree. Find the probability that she'll lose at least one game. So that means 1 minus p, she wins both. P, she wins both is simply 5/8 times... We only need to look at one strand instead of trying to draw all of them. So that's 5/8 times 2/9 equals 10 over 72. So then we do 1 minus that, which will give me 62 over 72. Moving on. Y is directly proportional to x. Y is this when x is this, so y equals kx. 24 equals, I'm going to put it as the root of 2k, which would then give 16 equals k, yes? So when x is 5, y is going to be 5 times 16, which will give me 80. Write 1 over 16 in this form. Well, 16 equals 4 squared, but it's in the denominator, so 1 over 16 equals 4 to the minus 2. This would be horrible if they give you odd numbers, but they didn't, so we can relax. 8 to the 3rd, remember that's like your square root, but cube in this case, is going to be 2. And 9 square rooted is 3. So then that's just 2 to the 5 minus 3 cubed. So that's 3, 9, 27. And then 2, count it with me, that's 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, which equals 5. Here's line 1, here's line 2, they're perpendicular. Find k. Okay. So we know gradient of L2 must be equal to minus a half, because we can get the gradient, because a line, two perpendicular lines means their gradients times to minus 1. So if that one's 2, that must be minus half, yes? So 6y plus kx minus 12 equals 0. So let's put it in the form that we can easily get a gradient out. So we get 6y equals 12 minus kx. Y equals 2 minus k on 6x. So we need minus k on 6 to equal minus a half. So that means k equals 3. Here's a sphere. Find the diameter of the sphere. Okay, so 3/8 of the surface area is this. The surface area of the sphere, they've given it to us, is 4 pi r squared. So 4 pi r squared times 3/8 is 75 pi. So let's cancel off those pi's. We then get 3 over 2 r squared equals 75. That then gives us an r squared of 50, which gives r is equal to 5 root 2. They have asked for the diameter, so that's 2r equals 10 root 2 equals diameter. Make x the subject of this formula, so that would give us y, because we times this up, is 5x plus 3 equals 4 lots of 2x minus 7, which then gives 5xy, because we need to expand this out, plus 3y going across, equals 8x minus 28. Get all the x's on one side, so that's 5xy minus 8x equals minus 28 minus 3y. Take a factor of x out, 5y minus 8 equals minus 28 minus 3y. X equals minus 28 minus 3y over 5y minus 8. Moving on. Here's our ratios question. Okay, no one likes ratios, but we can do this and we're going to do it easily, yes? So, that's what that equals. Cost of that's this. Okay. So what can we say here? So we have 7c plus 5t equals 480, yes? And we have that c over t essentially would equal 5 over 9. So 9c equals 5t, yes? So 9 over 5c equals t. So we'll sub that in. 7c plus, well, thankfully the 5's cancelled, so that would just be 9c equals 480. 16c equals 480, which will give me c equals, what, 30? If c equals 30, well, that's 30p. That means that's 7 times 30 equals 210 on the carets. So that's 480 minus 210 would give me 270 for the tomatoes, of which we bought how many? 5 kilograms, which would give us 54. Yes? So tomatoes is 54 and carrots is 30. And if we took out, what would we want to take? So that's 30 and 54. I'm not rewriting it. Yeah, 30 and 54. And would that drop out to what we want it to if we times that by 6, yeah, that is 30 to 54. Right, moving on. A menu has starters, main courses, and desserts. There are 5 starters, 12 main course, X desserts. Okay, so there's 5. How many ways can you choose it? 5 times 12 times X. Yep. So that's 60X equals 420. So X equals 7. For X bigger than 0, here are your functions. Find inverse of G. Okay, so then the way we always were taught how to do this is essentially set y equal to it. Y equals root x plus 2 over 5, and then you just want to make x the subject. So that's 5y minus 2 equals root x. So that would be 5y minus 2 squared equals x. So then you'd have g to the minus 1 equals 5. You need to change it back to x because they've asked for it in x's, if you see. 5x minus 2 squared. Solve g of f of x. Well, let's shove in, remember we use this one first because it's the closest in. So shove in a 3, what do we get? F of 3 will give me g of 3 lots of 3 plus 4, which is g of 13, yes? And g of 13, that's horrid. Have I really done that right? Unfortunately, I do think so. I haven't. That's good. Because the whole thing needs to equal 3, yes? So this is why they give us the inverse, because then that means f of x equals g to the minus 3 of x. Because we've kind of used it on both, yes? So if I g minus 1 this side, g minus 1 that side, those two cancel. So g of minus 3, so we get 5 lots of 3 minus 2 all squared is 13 squared equals 169. If f of x equals 169 equals 3x plus 4. So 165 equals 3x. So x equals, you probably wouldn't want to write outside the box, but they're not actually marking this, so I should be alright. X would then equal 55. Really? 55? Okay, well that would give me 169 out. 169, yeah, no, I think it is, okay. A, B, and D are points. Work out the size of angle A to D to C. So it's this one here we're looking for. Use some circle theorems. Okay, so these are on the same thing, but this one is things. So we know that this angle to this angle is double. So this angle is 32. So this angle is also 32, yes? So then you call it loads of things. You call it the bow tie thing. So you know angle sub 10 double. Angle sub 10 double, that's the main thing. And then on the same arc. That's what we've used so far. I'm actually going to rub that out. That wasn't helpful for me. And I can't see the diagram as clearly. So we've now got that's 32. So now all this adds up to, we're looking for ADC, aren't we? We also know that radii tangent is 90 degrees. So we know that's 90 degrees. So this is also 90 degrees. So that's 32 plus 51. That would give us 83. This adds up. So this is 97. Oh, why am I in this pen? So this is also 97. Which would then give me, this is 17, I think. Hopefully, nope, not 17. It's 3 plus the 16, which is 19, in fact. Which would give this as 71. ADC? Yep, 71. ABCDEFG is a cuboid. Work out the size of F to C, to draw that on, and the plane ABCD. So we want to basically have this one here. So we have AF is 6.8. Good, they've given us one of the sides of the triangles. And F to C is, they've really made this easy for us. So this won't be worth much at all. Yeah, it's only worth 2 marks. Figures They give you a whole page to do one line of working, 13.6. So, here's our angle we're looking for. We have, what do we have? We have the opposite, and we have the hypotenuse, so we're using sine. So we have sine of theta equals 6.8 over 13.6. Is that it? Yeah. And excitingly, what you might know is that's a half. And that, hopefully you know from being this drilled into you, this is 30 degrees. Moving on. Write this in this form. Okay, so we need to rationalise both denominator, yes? And make them the same as well. So I'm just going to start by doing this one. So we'd get 3 root 3 over 4 plus root 3. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to combine and then rationalise. So I'm going to times this one by root 3 and this one by minus 4 root 3. So I'd get 3 root 3, lots of root 3, over 4 root 3 minus 3, minus 2 lots of 4 minus root 3. And now the denominators are the same. I can just kind of bring that across. So that gives me 9 minus 8 plus 2 root 3 over 4 root 3 minus 3 equals 1 plus 2 root 3 over 4 root 3 minus 3. We're not done. Remember, we need to sort out the denominator. So now I'm going to times that. What am I going to times this by? Times this by what? 4 root 3 plus 3, essentially, on the top and bottom. Which would give me, what would that give me? 4 root 3 plus 4 root 3 plus 3 plus 8 times 3 is 24 plus 6 root 3. And on the bottom, we get 16 times 3, that is 48, minus 9, which will give us 39 over 10 root 3, plus 27. And now we've got it in the form thereafter. Find the set of possible values for which this holds. So, if again we remember that a quadratic looks like that, unless it's negative, in which case we get our n for negative. Yes. Which means we're looking for when this is less than 0, so we're going to get something like that. And then we're also going to have another one that at this point needs to be positive, but again, we're going to deal with that one at a time. We'll find the suitable values and then we pick the range that both of them work in. So, if we need 4x squared minus 25, well, we can immediately split that into 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 5, which says that x needs to be between, and we know it's between because of this. It's not up this here, it's up here. And that's normally the main reason we do that. So it will be between minus 5 over 2 and 5 over 2. Yes? And this one, that might be a bit more awkward to solve, but I'm sure we'll find a way. So we get a equals minus 3, b equals minus 5, c equals 12, x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac plus 144 all over 2a, which is minus 6. So that we get equal to plus 13, plus or minus 13, which would give me 18 over minus 6 equals minus 3. And it would give me as my other value 13 minus 5 is minus 8. So that's 8 over 6 equals 4 over 3. So we need to take the smaller range, that will be minus 5 on 2 to x to 4 on 3, yes? Because that is bigger or is further or is smaller on the number line, so we need to pick this one. Oh, and we're done. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.